little thing. Just so you see, by doing the side work or following across and doing the pushing hammer blow, I've gained close to another 1/4 inch. So I've got about 1 3/4 inches there and a similar thickness, okay? Just an observation. But I want to talk about doing the work and quit worrying about the cleanup. So many people, when they're doing something like this, they're creating the spread. This can be on knives, it can be on decorative components, leaves, fishtail scrolls, blown over leaf scrolls, all those kinds of things. They worry about the form the whole way through. Do the work and then do your cleanup. If you keep trying to clean up the whole time and you're trying to get a lot of width spread, you're not going to get that width, because every time you clean up, it makes it longer. We see this predominantly when we're doing tongs. So this is 5/8 material, and I want to yield somewhere between 7/8 inch wide and 1 inch wide, but still keep it 5/16 to 3/8 thick. If you do a pushing hammer blow and you're constantly controlling the sides, you're never going to get that 7/8 wide, and you're going to wind up with a jaw, instead of hitting 2 inches long, it's going to be about 2.5 to 3 inches long, and you're going to be about 3/4 inch wide. And that is because you're playing with it too much. Do the work, do the intent of what you're supposed to be doing, and then come back and do your cleanup afterwards. So for this, I'm going to knock out a quick fishtail again. I'm going to let it flare out, let it be a little jaunty, so maybe it's a little off on one side or the other, maybe some lumps and bumps. Show you then how I do the cleanup, center it, straighten it. Centering this way on 1/4 inch material is very, very easy, because you've only got a maximum of 1/8 of an inch displacement. So it's more about how that head relates to the center line. Okay, a little bit of pulling hammer blow to get my spread. Fan side to side to build out my corners. Move back, center line, fanning. That's about far enough. Running down the right hand side, all the way to the corner. Running down the left hand side, all the way to the corner. Running down the middle. Okay, so that's a good roughing. This side here has more of a sallow curve to it. This side here has more of a plump curve to it. What you will generally find in that case is that this is a little flatter than this side. So if I look at this, this is quite a linear taper. I'm expecting the one on this side to be a little plumper. And there it is, it kind of comes up fast, levels out, comes through.
It's hard to see that on the bar. Can you draw it? Like on the board?
On the board, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's so small on the bar, it's hard to see.
So, on the side that is kind of flared like this, okay? In side view, I would expect this to kind of have a fast start, and the taper comes down to about here, and then kind of just ease out. Right? So you see how you kind of have a nice arc form to it. If you have one, the other side, say, as this one is a little bit more like that, so a little plumper, I would expect this in side view to almost be sallow. So you remember when we were talking about the tapering, if you have a sallow taper, it would be kind of more like that. And that sallowness is what gives you this plumpness, okay? if your taper, or if the flare on the side was kind of like that, okay, that would be a really extreme version of this. This would almost go the other way. It would almost be thick at the tip, thin, and then, okay? And that relationship of that thickness at the tip here is why that corner is underformed. It's excessively deep here, which gives you the excessive width. Then it wraps in quickly, which is essentially this form happening here, which gives us that. So I can tell from top view, because I have a standard material dimensioning to begin with, what my side view actually looks like. Does that make sense? So I can make that a little bit more dramatic if I wanted to. I drop a little bit more hammer blow here, make that little bit of the ski ramp form. And then this one I'm going to pinch out that corner a touch. Notice how I'm using a pushing hammer blow to push that corner out. Okay, so there I have a nice flare, here I have a swell. Side view, you see the ski ramp more, and in this view, it's almost the opposite. So this is, well, plump or pregnant, and this is skinny, sallow form.
Nice.
Okay, so if I was left at this point and I wanted to clean it up, I personally would run a pass down this left-hand side here, down through here, which would bring that meat out to be even. So I'd kind of have a straight line through here. This one is overworked for what I want. So got two options. I could creep my line back, which would then create a straighter line through here, and I can even up through here, or I can do side work. I would typically recommend get your profile from above as close to where you need it, or as close to even as possible, in order to make your side work easier, okay? Having this all jaunty and out of skew is going to make aligning everything difficult, right? So I'm going to come in on the side now. Please remember this. Do the work first, clean up after. I'll go crazy. When you're centering up an object like this, and strangely, you know, we're talking about centering up a geometric mass, an even mass, visually even. This same construct would work for something that is beveled to one side. So a blown over leaf scroll, or a knife blade, or something like that. You still want to approach the idea the same. You're still supporting the underside of your piece. So this is your angle. You want to support the underside of the piece. I'm going to draw it like that. This is my curved one. That's a fat one. So that when you drive the material in, it fills the void to the shape that you want. I could go to the horn and actually keep that curved, and then actually forge that one in hollow to match it. But what I'll do first is I'll just make this into a nice symmetrical fishtail. So this side down, nicely supported. I don't want it to be over here because then I'm just bending the bar. I'm going to go here, strike in. Okay. Notice the angle of my hammer is to the angle that I want to create. See it ripples. Do a little bit of flattening. You see how this side here is really straightened up just by pushing that in. But this side here, which is upset in on the side here, it actually almost looks like it's shortened. So that corner has been held back because this one had a longer line, and as it straightened up, it pushed that corner in. So now I've got to come down here, running on the flats, hammer through here to push out that corner, and then come back and do side work. As I said, I could have solved all of this if I had worked the material evenly and correctly early on, just to keep everything in the right place, or do some dressing to try and cheat it close. Because you can squeeze a little bit more on one side than the other, and visually, within a percentage, you can make it disappear in architecture. I'll run down the right. A little bit of a pushing hammer blow. That way I'm not getting too much sideways deformation. All the way into that corner. That makes me happy. A little bit of side work again. Flip it, work from both sides. Crinkles a touch, a little control. There we go, straighten my bar. Okay, fairly symmetrical, and just for giggles, I'm going to upset that and try and build out some nice sharp corners and give it a nice straight front line. I like these abstracts, which is basically, like forming a triangle or something like that on the end of a bar, as an exercise. We get so bogged down in the idea of trying to make an object, and instead of learning how to truly manipulate the material as an abstract, understand how it flows. If you're fighting to make the object, rather than saying, you know what, I want to make a perfect little cube on the end, or a perfect little diamond, or a little triangle, you're not really learning how your material is going to behave. You're spending too much energy trying to get the final object, rather than enjoying the process and learning what the material can do for you. And of course, all of this can be practiced in clay as well. Come up here, turn the back, nice gentle work, working through the center from corner to corner. Now if I run into it, push that meat way out there. Back up, set back in, try and get it a little truer all the way into the corners. And then a little bit more side work. Softness there. Come in. You'll notice, like, I've choked way up on the hammer on this for doing this close detail work, and as I'm forging, I move backwards and forwards on the handle all the time. It's just how I work. Some people love it, some people don't. Again, find what's comfortable for you. I think that's pretty solid. So, that idea, move the material that you need to move. Don't play around with it, trying to keep it in order all the time. Hopefully, if you're being good and mechanical with your process, it will actually move evenly how you want it to, or how you place it before you start flattening out as your preformer, as it were. That would be beneficial in order to get your final shape. You don't ever want to be putting yourself in a sticky situation where the material isn't moving to where it wants to be. but most of that comes from experience. So go make some shapes, try getting some really nice fishtails, get some straight-sided fishtails with nice sharp square triangular corners, however you want to term that. Try some with swoops, try some that are kind of more full-bodied. Try rounding up the form on the horn, where you're using the hammer to move around against the horn itself to give you that nice salad-shaped fishtail, something like that. Lots of variances within the same thing, and it really is just about getting that material moved, coming in and doing your cleanup. Right. Hope that helps a little bit of clarity. Give it a whirl.